Hello fellow pitch people, thank you for joining me for another quick tip video on pitch materials. Today I want to talk to you about a couple of quick tips to punch up the design of your deck. Alright, let's get right into it. The very first tip, reduce your copy. It is so easy to let copy get away from you. You really want to get across everything that your business does and what makes it so great. But the problem is the person on the end probably doesn't want to read everything about your business. It's really important to distill your information down to the most valuable pieces that you can. If you're having trouble doing this, have somebody else read your pitch. The more time you spend working on your pitch, the more removed you are from being able to really edit it and assess it. Maybe it's a business partner or maybe it's a friend, but get somebody else to read it and give you some suggestions on where you might be going a little long. Another way you can avoid too much copy is by creating an appendix at the end of your deck to house extra information that you wanted to discuss but you don't want to clutter your story with. You could even provide a glossary of terms at the end of your deck so you don't have to go into lengthy explanations about the terminology that you're using in case your audience isn't familiar with your business. Sometimes I'll also use asterisks to put little footers at the bottom just in case someone needs a little extra explanation on a topic. The goal though is to keep your deck really streamlined and your message really clear. Tip number 2, make use of title slides. Not only do they help section out your deck and provide clarity on where you're going, they act as a palate cleanser. By not using title slides, you run the risk of causing pitch fatigue on your reader. Title slides are a great opportunity to indicate to a reader that you've closed discussion on your previous topic and you're about to begin a new one. And when somebody's reading a deck for the first time, they're reading it fresh and it's not clear to them that you're moving on. You need to make it crystal clear, and using title slides and headers is a great way to make it very clear that you've moved on. Next tip, use top line headers and title page text to tell a story rather than just using it as a format. Here's what I mean. With a company pitch deck, you might use familiar terms like the problem, the solution, our team. Try thinking of it a different way. Try making it more on brand to you. So if you're a surfboard company, instead of the problem, it might be, here's what's wrong with today's surfboards. Instead of the team, it might be, here's our crew. Titles and headers are a great way to show your personality, but also to tell a story. Next tip. Take the time to really find the right photos. One of the worst design mistakes you can make is by putting a poor quality pixelated photo in your deck, or by putting a photo that has nothing to do with what you're talking about. It's really easy to jump on Google and find just about any image you want. The problem is a lot of times the quality is poor and it might not really tell your story. Or even worse, it might tell some other brand's story. What I like to do is I like to utilize services that don't cost a whole lot of money, like Envato Elements or Storyblocks. These are great services that cost around $30 a month. You have unlimited downloads for one price. When you're doing a deck, you might need a lot of photos or you might need to swap out photos. What you don't want to do is spend a bunch of money on photos you ultimately don't even end up using. Last tip. Take the time to make sure that all of your text is aligned and anchored. Most deck software like PowerPoint or Keynote come with guidelines that you can pull in to align text up. Take the time to make sure that your text is really aligned, that your headers and your subheaders and your copy are aligned. Seems like a small detail, but the brain picks up on these inconsistencies. The last thing you want to do is provide a distraction for your reader, even if it's subliminal. And when it comes to anchoring, try to make sure that you don't have objects just floating on a slide. Make sure that they're anchored to something. If you have an image, try to anchor that image with your text. And that's it, just a few quick tips on how you can punch up the design of your sales pitch. Thanks for watching, and may the pitch be with you.